Hey, what's up? It's Alex. I'm back with another coffee video, and today I'm going to talk about grinders and more specifically hand grinders. So if you're thinking of buying a hand grinder or have recently bought a hand grinder and you want to figure out how to get the best out of it, then stay tuned to this video. I'll be using the Hario Skirtin Pro as an example, but you can take the key points as they kind of translate across all hand grinders. You just might find that the small details that I talk about will be different, but the overall idea will be the same with every hand grinder that you come across. I've broken this video down into 3 sections. So section 1 will be the anatomy of a hand grinder, section 2 will be finding the 0 point of a hand grinder, and then section 3 will be dialing in your hand grinder to make the best coffee possible. So if you're interested in a certain point, I'll have a timestamp down below so you can check it out. So let's get into section 1, which is the anatomy of a hand grinder. A hand grinder comes in 5 kind of general sections, if you can call it that. So the first being the handle. This is the method that you use to actually crank the grinds through. Next section is the hopper. This is the place where you actually put the beans into before you grind it, so the whole beans go in here. Then the next part, which is kind of the most important part, is the burr set. So this is the actual part that grinds the coffee. So they come in all kind of different materials. I think these are ceramic on the Hario Skirtin Pro. They could come in all different types of metals and stuff like that, and there are a few different types of burrs, but I'm not going to get into that. The general idea of them is always the same. Underneath the burrs is kind of the adjustment section, the adjustment knob. This is where you twist it left and right, clockwise, anti-clockwise, to decide how coarse or fine your grind is, and I'll get more into that in section 2. And then lastly, just the catch bin. This is the place where once the coffee's been ground, it falls into, and you can then distribute to whatever coffee method you're doing. Alright, so that's the anatomy of the hand grinder. Let's jump into how we find our 0 point. Okay, so next section I'm going to talk about finding the 0 point on your coffee grinder. So, to be able to measure and improve your coffee, you need to be able to set your grinder correctly. And in order to do this, we need to find the 0 point. Now, if you look at the bottom of a grinder, you'll notice that there's actually no numbers, so it can be quite confusing as to how you actually set it up. That's what I'm here to tell you. Basically, you will hear little clicks on this grinder. Some grinders are different, but most of them have clicks, and we use the clicks as a measurement. So you might hear someone say, I went 6 clicks on my Skirtin Pro grinder to brew the V60. So you know you have to click it 6 times. But where do you start from? The way to find the 0 point is you hold your grinder so that the handle is horizontal, and then you drop it. And then you push it back horizontal, and then you click it 1 notch tighter. You drop it again, click it 1 notch tighter, and it holds. That is your 0 point. And then if you want to go 6 clicks, you measure out 6 clicks. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you can grind your coffee, and you know you've gone 6 clicks. So yeah, that's how you find the 0 point. It's pretty straightforward, but if you didn't know, there's no way you'd figure it out. So yeah, thought it would be helpful to include that. So now that we have our 0 point, we can start brewing coffee. But we have to go through a bit of trial and error to dial in the actual coffee grinder to suit the coffee that we have and the brew method that we're going for. I found a great website called the Honest Coffee Guide. I'll have it linked down below. But basically on this website, you just search for whatever grinder you have, and they have a chart that gives you a rough idea of the number of clicks you should go to for that grinder and for that brew method. So I've just taken, for example, V60, because that's my kind of favorite brewing method. They suggest for the Hario Skirtin Pro to go between 4 and 6 clicks. So if I was starting off, I would go to 5 clicks. I would then grind my coffee, brew it, taste it, and see is it over extracted or under extracted. If it's over extracted, that means the coffee was too fine. I will then, the next time, go to the 0 point and then do 6 clicks, which is 1 more, which means the coffee is a bit more coarse and the water can pass through it quicker, and then taste it again. If it's still too over extracted, I know I can go to 7. If it's just right, happy days. So that is kind of how you go through the process of dialing in your coffee, and it works for any brew method. This website has everything from Turkish down to cold brew, so all your coffee brewing methods are covered, and this just gives you a rough guide so that you can then not be way off when you brew your first cup of coffee. This process can take a few attempts, so you do need to be patient, and if you're not patient, you're probably not at this part of the video, but if you're still here, I would probably suggest getting an espresso because, yeah, that's part of the whole fun of brewing coffee at home, is the whole trial and error process. But I hope you found this video valuable and were able to take something away from it. If you did enjoy it, please consider subscribing, and yeah, thanks a mil for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.